Welcome to the Online Success Journey podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 190. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Josh Ellege, a podcaster, the founder and the chief executive angel of SavingsAngel.com, and he has emerged as one of the nation's leading experts on consumers' savings. SavingsAngels.com has become a major operation employing up to 50 employees and grossing more than $5 million in sales over the past 8 years with less than $500 spent in advertising. Josh is on a mission to help entrepreneurs attract the best audiences. Hello, Josh.
Patience, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. I know the clan here is anxious to hear your journey, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my clan a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own online business?
Sure. Yeah. Right out of high school, I joined the U.S. Navy as a Navy journalist and was stationed in Hawaii for 3 years. At my last year, I was stationed in the Aleutian Islands in Alaska, and I was actually a DJ. That was my job when I was in the United States Navy. So it was a pretty great experience. I wasn't necessarily very good at it, but I enjoyed it nonetheless, and I was thrilled to serve. And following that, I went to school to study family therapy because I wanted to be, more than anything, Patience, I wanted to be a love doctor on the radio. That was my dream. And I got distracted with the internet and I became an internet developer. And so I started a number of businesses. Some of them did okay. Most of them failed pretty spectacularly. And it wasn't until about 11 years ago that I launched a company called Savings Angel, and it was a website designed to help people save money at the grocery store, and it was very successful. And as you mentioned, we did over $6 million in revenue, and we didn't spend any money on advertising, really. I mean, it was certainly less than $500. Everything I did, because I knew at the beginning that if you're going to be successful in business, you have to have visibility. You have to have exposure. Exposure is everything. You can have the best business idea in the world, but if nobody hears about you, then of course you're not going to be very successful at all. And so I just started off reaching out to local newspapers, local blogs, websites, radio stations, TV stations. I mean, really anyone who had an audience. And I just offered to serve in a way where it actually had very little, I didn't want to present it in a way where it felt in any way like it was just something that was only going to be good for me. I mean, I really wanted to serve as a journalist of sorts. And so I became a syndicated consumer expert. And so from that, I became a syndicated radio host. Became a syndicated newspaper columnist and a syndicated TV consumer expert as well. But yeah, all told, I've been in the media now over 2,000 times, just helping consumers save money. And of course, I have a website, that kind of followed along with that. And Savings Angel has been a wonderful business to be able to help good people with. And of course, I got really good at this. And when I tell people that I got in the media that many times, naturally, a lot of business owners ask me, well, how can they do the same thing? And so I just started serving pro bono in our local startup community. I started helping as many business owners as I could and, try and save them from spending a bunch of money in PR. I just don't think that that's necessary for most businesses. And just follow my advice, just do exactly what I did, and you should be able to have the same results. And so now I've kind of become known as the guy that turns entrepreneurs into media celebrities. And I've had a pretty good track record at that, in fact.
Wow, what a great background, Josh. Wow. You are pretty, you know what you're doing. Well, that is a lot of time of free publicity. Okay. What is the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have?
Right. Well, I think that it is that they can build their business strictly from behind their computer screen, and they can just hide out, and they can build a business anonymously. And I believe that you can up to a certain level, and then eventually you're going to be frustrated that other people are surpassing you. I think you're going to be frustrated that your business is going to stagnate. And the reason why is, I mean, for some consumer products, I think you could probably get away with this a little bit longer. But for the most part, people like doing business with people. And so if your company is just completely anonymous, there's no people associated with this. If I click on the About Us and it's just very generic, there's no faces, there's no stories, that sort of thing, you're going to get commoditized. And what I mean by that is people will have no connection to your product whatsoever. It's the people that really we fall in love with and we want to support, and so I think it's a very dangerous idea to just hide out. So my job is to help my clients and other people that I inspire. I do a lot of speaking on this subject. I want to get even sales teams. I do a lot of speaking to sales teams and sales and marketing organizations, and my job is to help them get their personas more well known, especially online. And so if you'll do that, then I think that you're going to build the trust of consumers. And, again, as a consumer expert, I've been studying this for 11, 12 years and teaching it for 11, 12 years. And I can tell you that we are in a new age right now. And that new age is that consumers are rebelling, and they are sick of being advertised to, and what they want is they want to know what people think about your product or service or your business. They want to know what people think about you. And so you have to be very, very aware of what consumers are looking for. They're not looking for your ads. What they're looking for is reviews, what influencers are saying, user-generated content. They're looking for your social proof. They're looking for indicators of your success and authority. And, they're looking for, are you social proof? I say social proof, associations, and just any other indications that you are solving other people's problems and you can fix their problem. But they're not going to take your word for it. They want to take other people's word for it.
Right. You've been in this business for 12 years. Why do you do what you do?
Well, I think a lot of it stems from my innate desire for fairness. And I just, when I was in school, I was not very cool. I was overweight. I wore these ugly glasses. I didn't really take good care of myself. I tried way too hard to fit in, and it just didn't work out real well. And I always wanted to, I wanted to be appreciated, I guess. And, when I saw other people that were picked on, I didn't like that either. And I wanted them to be treated with respect and fairness. And so as a consumer myself, I wanted to be able to, enjoy maybe upgraded experiences, but I didn't really necessarily have the money for that. And so I became really, really good at finding ways to get a deal, hook up, or upgrade. And so that's kind of what became this consumer expert. I didn't want to be manipulated by sales and advertising. I wanted to be an active consumer, and I wanted other people to experience that. So I know, patients, that if I don't do my job as the savings angel, people are going to suffer financially. I have to do what I do. And similarly with Up My Influence, which I launched 5 years ago, it's the same situation. If I don't do my job, businesses are going to suffer. Businesses are going to stagnate. Business owners are going to give up on their dreams and goals and ambitions. They're going to suffer because they don't have the visibility. They don't have the industry authority. Or, these business owners just might try other things to try to succeed. They might say, well, we need to just dump more and more and more and more money into Facebook ads. And the returns are just not really there. I need to step in and help those people. So I'm good. Financially, I enjoy my life. It's so beyond that at this point for me. I'm on a mission.
So are you now telling the new companies who are really doing ads on Facebook, are you telling them that they're wasting their money?
Well, they could be, yeah. And I'll tell you that they could be, absolutely wasting money. And the reason why is that if you think the solution is just better and better ads, while you're ignoring the fact that the consumer cycle has changed a lot over the past 12 years. And what happens today? And maybe it's because we've all been burned, or maybe it's just the fact that, according to the American Marketing Association, we're exposed to over 10,000 advertising messages a day. So there's way too much noise. There are way too many ads. Social media, particularly Facebook, can be kind of an annoying experience now. It's just not that cool. We endure it, but we don't like being advertised to. We don't watch commercials if we can avoid it. We skip them. We don't like looking at banner ads. We skip them. And so everybody is trying to avoid being sold to. And so if you think the solution is just to sell more, I'm not telling you not to sell, but you have to understand that if you do catch the attention of a consumer, well, guess what they're going to do? Well, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to judge you based on the quality of your branding. And you are not going to attract a level of consumer that exceeds your level of branding. Does that make sense? So if your branding's messed up, or let's say I go to your social media and you've got less than 1,000 followers, listen, consumers are going to look at that and they're going to say, okay, there's not a lot of social proof here. And so as a result, that's something that, it's not going to work toward your favor. I'm not saying that you can't sell with, without more than 1,000 followers. You can, it's just more difficult. Your conversion rate is lower. If you don't have, let's say, media logos on your website or on your lead capture page, or your sales page or whatever, I'm not saying that you can't sell. You're just going to sell a lot less. You're going to make a lot less money. So my job is to help you make a lot more money. So currently, let's say that you spend $10 per lead. And after it's all said and done, you're making, maybe $10 and $11 in revenue from each of those $10 leads. Well, you could be making a lot more. But right now, a lot of people are checking your stuff out and they're like, yeah, I just don't know, like, and trust this person. And so they don't move forward. And it's actually not that hard to gain the trust of consumers, but you do need to be very mindful of it, and you need to do some certain things.
Let's put Iman aside because you've been in business for a long time. How do you know you are successful?
I'm successful in business. Obviously, the bottom line is a good indicator of that things are going well, but it's just one measurement. It's just one metric. And so when I have clients, for example, one of our clients, Robert, and he gets 30, we do a lot of media placements. We do a lot of influencer engagement on behalf of our clients. We do a lot of authority building. We really focus on how to improve their sales and conversions. When I get a client who is raving because he got 30 media placements in 1 month's time, I know I'm doing the right thing. When I get a client who says, Amanda, who says, in the 6 months that we've been working together, I have literally doubled my revenue and doubled my profits. That's how I know that we're successful. It's the results, it's the outcome of my impact. When I can see that there's a shift, I have people that, they're getting treated with respect. Instead of just showing up to a conference as just another face in the crowd, they're now getting invited to speak at these conferences because of the respect that they have and the authority. And so, if I had one dream, it would be that, to the person who's listening to us, I could increase your authority by tenfold. And just imagine if you had 10 times the authority, what your life would be like. And that's my goal, is to help you achieve that. And I know how to do it. I've been doing it for many years, and my team and I are pretty good at it. And so, again, what we're talking about is branding. It's indicators of authority, your social media. We're talking about, getting in the media, generating buzz, getting that visibility, being invited to partner with other influential people. That's how we do this.
What have you learned from business as a whole?
Well, I've learned that in terms of business, is that, unlike a job where you can you might be able to get away with phoning it in and keeping your job. In business, it's a true meritocracy. So you are paid directly in proportion to the size of the problems you solve. So I work with a lot of small business owners, and I work with some medium and big size companies. And my goal is to solve big problems. And if you can solve big problems, you're going to make big money. And you're going to have a big impact in the world. I know that collectively, I'm helping people get their voices heard and helping them increase their impact in the world. And I just truly believe that everybody has a message that could positively impact the world. And my job is just to make sure that message is heard.
Do you have a mentor in your businesses?
Yeah, yes, I'm surrounded by mentors, in fact. And I try to spend at least 2 to 3 hours being mentored. So I listen to podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I've got my own coaches. I invest very, very heavily in this because the business and success of the business truly comes down to the level at which the business owner operates. So it comes down to the mentality of the owner. So if someone is just, you get into business and you're a business operator, well, you're not going to grow. You need to be a business owner, and you have to have an owner mindset. And the only way that you can grow your value is you're going to grow your value through a lot of experience, of course. However, you also want to learn from other people's experiences. And the more you can do this, then the faster you can escalate, and the fewer problems or fewer mistakes you have to make on your own. So yeah, that's why I surround myself with mentors. I want to learn from their mistakes.
What is the most valuable thing your mentors has told you?
If I consider experience to be my strongest mentor, and I really think that I would, I could tell you that, understanding what sales is. And then I did have some really good coaches that helped me with this. Because when I got into this, I was very, very insecure with selling because I thought selling was just convincing people of something. And that's not at all the case. It's solving people's problems. Most of the time, you may be able to do that for somebody, and sometimes you can't. But you really want to just serve your way to the top and give value even before you ask for compensation. Earn people's trust by giving them so much value that they're basically pulling out their wallet and saying, please take my money. You're doing it right. If that's the response you get, when people are like, should I be paying you right now? Because this is amazing. And I think that that's what consumers are looking for. I mean, we're in the age of podcasts and YouTube, and, I don't think it's enough to just sell an e-course and just put an e-course up and just expect that people are just going to buy it just because you got a great sales page and you put a bunch of ads behind it. You're going to have to build and invest in that relationship before you get to that point. And you're going to need to be a known commodity, and you're going to need to be a reliable source and expert. And then, maybe you can start asking consumers about an exchange of value.
What is one thing no one knows about you?
I've got phobias. I've got a fear of umbrellas. I've got a fear of I depending on who's driving the car, I can get very uncomfortable. I've never been able to ride with my teenage drivers. So, they're both very confident, but unless I have like just incredible amounts of confidence in whoever is driving, it's just, I'm like, I've got a death grip on the handlebar, and on my seat. It's really unnerving. So I would say that that probably ranks up there.
Let's backtrack. You talked about the umbrella. So you rather get soaked than using an umbrella?
Oh, no. So it's not my umbrella I'm scared of. It's other people's umbrellas. So, and I must have gotten poked in the eye when I was young. I don't remember. But, when walking down a sidewalk and everyone's got umbrellas, with the wind going and all that other stuff, I look at the typical umbrella, and it's surrounded with those little pokey things, and those little pokey things could be mere inches from my eye, and all I know is like one stiff wind gust, and I could be blinded. So I really. Like I walk down the sidewalk, and if you're ever with me in a rain and there are umbrellas out, I'm just constantly flinching.
Oh dear. Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, let's talk about your business, Up Influencing company you have opened for 5 years ago. Tell us more about it.
Well, so when I started it, I actually had no intention of creating a second business. I mean, I was happy, being the savings angel. And in my local startup community, I had some opportunities to mentor. And so through our local small business development center, there were some incubator groups and some co-working spaces, some startup communities. And so I got invited to speak and host workshops. And then I agreed to do some mentoring as well. And in that, I would kind of share what I did to become successful. And then people would follow my advice. And of course, they had success as well. And then they'd ask, well, can I hire you? And I said, well, I guess. I wasn't really planning on that, but sure, why not? And so they'd bring me on. I'd help them with their, get more and more media, help them work with influencers, help them to become an influencer themselves. And then they had success, and then they'd refer me to other people. And and the company, which is more of a platform, it's called Up My Influence. And so we do a lot of pro bono work. I do a lot of free training on YouTube. I do podcasts myself. I've been podcasting for many, many years. And I teach people how to become an influencer. And it's not just share stupid stuff on social media, although that is a path. You really can control people's perception of you, particularly when it comes to your professional respect. And I want people to be respected professionally. And so we've got a platform. And I like the way that we do things because, even when people engage with us, we don't act like a traditional agency. We don't do long-term contracts. We don't charge what PR firms charge. Generally, when we do charge clients, which is only a small percentage of everybody that I'm able to serve, we charge them like 1/5 of what a normal PR firm charges. And that we try to come up with solutions that are a little bit more intelligent, that are just way more effective. So yeah, it's a great pleasure, Patience. And I like I said, if you go to upmyinfluence.com, you'll see a lot of free stuff. That's by design. I believe that it's an imperative of all of us to give and serve the next generation of business owners.
What type of clientele do you work with? Because you mentioned you don't do contracts.
Right. Yeah. So we work. So as long as our client is a little bit savvy. So if I were to connect them, let's say with an influencer, we recently did one where it was a YouTuber, and the YouTuber, she had over 7 million subscribers. And so our client was able, once I made the introduction, and, I was kind of coached him and stuff. And I said, well, hey, yeah, we could absolutely make some connections. Tell me what you're thinking. We kind of worked it out. I made the introduction, and he and his wife and he had some other people on the team. I mean, they were able to take it from there, and they did okay. So you have to have the confidence that if I'm going to put you on stage, or I'm going to put your name in lights, or I'm going to make an introduction to someone that has a huge audience, you need to have the confidence to move forward. If you're not yet at that level of confidence, that's okay. That's where I've got all the, the videos and the podcasts and all the articles and everything else, help get you to that point. But generally, that's our client. So we work with a lot of self-branded businesses, a lot of author, speaker, coaches. We do work with a lot of tech startups. We work with attorneys. We work with a lot of people in the personal finance, real estate, even crypto, cannabis, a lot of emerging industries. Where, maybe there's just a lot of opportunity, and really it's about whoever can become a household name wins. And that's our job, is to help our clients become a household name in their industry.
How can we connect with you?
Well, I would strongly recommend we put together a free quiz to at least help you figure out where you are in terms of your personal authority. And that's at upmyinfluence.com/quiz. And I'll take you through a real brief quiz. I'm going to just ask you several questions about your social proof, that sort of thing. And I'm going to paint a really clear picture about where consumers probably see you right now. And then I'm going to give you a ton of resources. The vast majority of them are free. I'm going to share with you all my favorite free tools. And you're going to start, over the next couple months, you're going to start to really improve how people see you online. And it's not that hard. And none of this stuff is really that technically challenging. I mean, most of these things, even if you didn't have the technical ability, you could hire someone easily for under $10 an hour, and they'd be thrilled to help you put into place some of the things that I'm going to teach you and tell you how to do. But yeah, take the free quiz. I really, really like that. And I'd be happy to teach you absolutely free how to start working on your authority, your visibility, your influence, and ultimately grow your revenue.
So, Clan, there will be more from Josh in a moment. If you are listening on one of the many podcasting platforms rather than my website, and you are encouraged by Josh's journey, go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for a portion bonus of the interview. The Online Success Journey is a wonderful membership community built for people searching for the path to success. We are one big clan, and you can be part of this community for free. Once you have joined the clan, click on part 2 of Josh's journey or over 150 other journeys that are available, and learn how you can find the right path for your own online success journey. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Josh.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.